The COVID Recovery Minister has burst any dreams of a Cook Islands travel bubble by Christmas, but has the message been officially delivered to the islands? New Zealand government officials visited Rarotonga last month to assess when quarantine-free travel can start between the countries. Tourist operators there are desperate to throw down the welcome mat, with the industry that's reliant on foreign tourists decimated by the global COVID pandemic. But Chris Hipkins says there needs to be more work done on testing and contact tracing, and he's not expecting any travel this side of Christmas. Well, joining me now is Fletcher Melvin from the Cook Islands Chamber of Commerce. You've heard the Minister's comments there, Fletcher. What is your reaction to the fact he reckons no travel before Christmas?
Firstly, I'd just like to address that, the article itself. The article doesn't actually stating that there won't be any travel, and so we're just sort of hoping that he's talking about questions they still have yet to be answered, and we are hoping that the report that the officials have yet to furnish to our government will point out some of the gaps on this side and then in New Zealand. I do hear that there's concerns even on the New Zealand end about how is New Zealand prepared to bring back their citizens and how that's going to be done? That's questions for the New Zealand side. For our side, we do know that there are some gaps already that pointed out, and they are pretty small in terms of, getting more testing kits. The contact tracing itself, we've got about 70% of the population already using that and already able to be that to be rolled out even further. So we're confident that on our side we have done as much as we can.
So Fletcher, just to be clear, do you still hold out some hope that there will be quarantine-free travel between the Cook Islands and New Zealand before Christmas?
I do. We do, actually. We are still waiting for that official announcement from the New Zealand government, and that was supposed to be next week. So it caught us all by surprise, but having looked at that is, we still think that is an official position by the New Zealand government. Do you
think Chris Hipkins has misspoken here?
We do think that. We're hoping. If he hasn't, then that would be definitely be alarming for us. But it seems that it was a bit premature. We've had some indication that may have been a bit premature, and that there will be an official announcement coming soon.
When was the last time you heard from New Zealand officials?
The government in New Zealand, the Cook Islands government, has told us that they're in daily talks with the New Zealand officials, and that includes today, where government and officials on this side have been, furiously contacting New Zealand to say change. And we're still hopeful that there will be an official response coming soon.
You talked there about contact tracing, because this was one of the issues that Chris Hipkins raised. And he said they need to be sure about contact tracing. When you say about 70% of people are engaged with some form of contact tracing, what is it? Is it an app? What are you using there?
Oh, so we're using it is an app that sits on. So it's a bit different to New Zealand. On this side, we have it's a physical QR code that people carry. They go in and they log into a premises. So instead of a app that people carry on their phones, this is a physical QR code that people carry around. The reason we do that is that not all the population carries cell phones. Not all visitors will have compatible cell phones. So we've found a way that people can all carry their a contact tracing QR code, and that it is a lot easier for this to roll out. So we're quite confident that is something that's suitable for the Cook Islands.
So do you reckon that 70% coverage with that form of tracing is enough to open your borders to Kiwis?
Oh, it's certainly in Rarotonga. We are now working hard to get that to the outer islands. But the reason that we did do the contact tracing the way we did was because of the outer islands of the Cook Islands, where they don't have all access to internet. We're doing everything possible. We're trying to mirror as much as we can what's happening in New Zealand, and we're confident that that if we follow what New Zealand is doing, their best practices, we can open up.
I know you don't want to contemplate this, but given the comments that the Minister has made here, he said there'll be more progress made before Christmas, but no travel in a bubble before Christmas. If that is the case, what does that mean for businesses in the Cooks? Tourism?
Well, it's going to be pretty dire. I mean, most companies have said that, we've been talking about this bubble for a while now, and most companies have said that, this past next year, they won't be able to keep their doors open. They will be forced to close. A lot of the shareholders have said they can't pump any more money into their companies if they don't have any confidence that the economy some form of economy will return. So it's the final decision. Most of them have left it for December because we've said that the indications have been that there will be a bubble established. On this side, we still don't understand why there isn't any quarantine-free travel for people coming from the Cook Islands, at least.
Do you think that the New Zealand government's dragging its heels here, Fletcher?
Yes. I mean, it does seem that way certainly for the business community. It doesn't seem there isn't any reason for people on this side to be quarantined. It costs $3,000 for us to go in quarantine when we don't have it. So it seems a pretty easy decision. They've come over, they've confirmed we don't have COVID here. Why is that decision still in place? There are people here that so many people here that can't get medical checkups. For instance, I have two people that came in and said they normally visit 12 times a year in New Zealand. They've only been 4 times, and their condition means that they're in constant pain. And that is an indication of just a lot of things that are unable to be done on this end.
So it's not just tourists, it's about getting access to essential services, medical services and specialist people.
Absolutely. And at this time of year, we've just noticed that there are so many contracts that are now up for, that are ending at the end of the year. People that are leaving the country that provide essential services, that if the economy doesn't open, then people can't hold them in country. That includes health professionals. That includes people that work in daily services that we require, including veterinarians, by the way. Some of the veterinarians are leaving. So a lot of things are slowly, coming to an end. And we simply need the economy to function to hold these professionals in country.
Really appreciate your time this evening. That is Fletcher Melvin, who is from the Cook Islands Chamber of Commerce.